Hey, everybody. Big weekend in the SIAC, big weekend in college basketball. We have Clark Atlanta taking on Morehouse. It's the battle of the AUC. Right now, a guy that knows a lot about both programs.
Yes,
He's
sir.
coached in both places, but right now, the head coach at Clark Atlanta University. You played there, Coach Alfred Jordan. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here at HBCU Game Day. What does this time of the year mean, this type of weekend, when it's the battle of the AUC?
Well, normally, with it being a rivalry, it's always a big game. But now, with us being tied in the standings for first place on the east side and also for the regular season, this game and the implication is probably bigger than just a rivalry this weekend.
And it does not hurt that you guys have been on fire. Now, I know you lost a close one against Miles on Thursday night, but you guys had run off, 13 in a row?
Yes, sir. We had won 13 games in a row. We were undefeated in the new year. And yesterday we had a minor setback, which I think we probably needed, just to get us back grounded, for the stretch run of the season. You'd rather take one rather early than get into the tournament and drop one. I think, if anything, we learned last night that we have to finish the drill in 40 minutes, and I think it's going to shift the guys' focus back to winning mode.
All right, you can't win them all. Every once in a while, somebody's going to get you. But what was the biggest part of that 13 wins in a row for you guys?
To me, it was us buying back into the culture, because we did start off hot when we knocked off Division I Mercer, and then we won 6 games in a row. And, one thing I tried to echo to the team is, once you start winning, the outside chatter may get to you and people telling you, yeah, you're winning, but your numbers aren't amazing. And what I've been trying to tell our guys is, no one remembers a stat sheet. The only thing they remember is rings and banners. And, once everybody brought back into winning as a team and not doing their own individual thing, we hit an amazing stride.
You got the leading scorer in the SIAC in Chris Martin. And this guy has had a 40-point game. Almost another 40-point game. He has been a consistent scorer for you, obviously. What does he bring to your team? What makes him so dangerous?
So what a lot of people didn't know about Chris was 2 years ago, he led the conference in scoring prior to me getting here. And now that he has a much better supporting cast around him, I think the game is a lot easier for him, because, if you were to key on him, we have so many other weapons that, we could expose you defensively from so many areas. But, Chris puts in the work. He plays hard. He's a pit bull on the floor. And, he even makes the game tough for the referees, because, if you ask me, every time he goes to the basket, it's a foul.
And he can get it done all across the floor. Perimeter, finishing at the rim, the whole nine, right?
Yes, he's definitely a 3-level scorer. He has some games when he knocked down multiple threes, mid-range game. When it gets going, he's probably can shoot with the best of them. And like I said, going downhill, he's a pro.
And he's a good kid.
Yes, he's a great kid. He wants to win more than anything. He's selfless. He sacrificed. He went from starting to accepting the role of coming off the bench and being our 6th man. He made the adjustment. And, since we made the adjustment, we're 13-1.
And, basketball is so much about relationships. Like, you forged a relationship with him a while ago, and you guys were able to kind of keep that relationship, and it now comes full circle that you get to coach the kid.
Yes, because a lot of people don't know that in 2020, when I was offered the job originally, that was probably one of the first kids that I reached out and I recruited. And he did commit to coming to Clark Atlanta University with the thought of me being at the top of the bench. And, COVID hit. They didn't have a season. Things didn't work out. I ended up across the street at Morehouse. But even with me being at Morehouse, our relationship was so close that, we always kept in contact. And he was probably one of the first people I called when I did get offered the job the second time around. And, last year he was riddled with some injuries. So he decided to redshirt. And I think it worked out, because, the roster that we have right now, plus him, we've been doing some amazing things so far this season.
And you also have a couple of guys on your roster. We're just going to call them the face of the AUC, because people know them from Clark. People know them from Morehouse. Elijah and Andrew, the Stewart twins. What do those guys bring to your team?
Everything. I don't think that there's a better combination of guards that I could have recruited. And it's not only just basketball, it's what they bring to the culture, who they are as people. I think they're better people than they are basketball players. And if you ever seen them play basketball, you know how good they are on the court. But the things that they help me with off the court is absolutely amazing. I mean, I know that they would run through a brick wall for me. If I told them that it was sunny outside and they saw the rain, they'll walk outside with no umbrella. And, just having those type of guys in your locker room that you can trust, that when you're not around, that they have your back, I think that's more important than talent at sometimes.
And you can instantly tell them apart on any given moment at this point.
Yes, now I can. It took me a while, probably my first 2 or 3 weeks at Morehouse. Everybody used to say, well, one's left-handed, one's right-handed, one has the parts on his left side, the other has it on the right. It still took me quite a while, but after building that relationship and talking to them, you can actually distinguish the difference between the two.
It's amazing when you look at their numbers. Like the points are like almost exactly the same, just a couple of tenths off. Rebounds are the same. One of them has more turnovers than the
other. and when one gets hurt, the other gets hurt too. Let's not leave that one out either. But they're in sync, and people always ask, why do you play them together and not separately? When they're on the floor together, it's like that twin stuff is real. They know where each other are at on the floor. Sometimes they do sporadic things defensively that's gotten me some gray hairs and the hairline a little bit thinner, but them together, I'll take them over any other backcourt in the conference.
Coach, you got a ways to go. You still.
I'm trying to hold on.
It's still waving up over there.
I'm trying to hold on.
I cannot spot any grays over there, so you're doing good. What can fans expect on Saturday? Inside the gym, you're going to have Clark. You're going to have Morehouse. You're going to have the band, the fans. I've been there before. It is a wild and raucous environment.
Well, I can tell you it's going to be a dogfight because, again, not only are we playing for the rivalry, but we're also playing to win the regular season championship, seeding in the tournament, and also playing for the Eastern Division Championship, which Morehouse has won in back-to-back years. I think Coach Whitler and Coach Clay have done an amazing job in the shadow of Grady Brewer, God bless the dead. And I know Grady Brewer is looking down on them, and he's very, very proud. And I know, Coach Whitler with that job is nonstop pressure every year. And I think he's answered the call every year. He's been above and beyond. And, it's kind of weird because every time I do these interviews, I think people are expecting me to give them a hot take, but they don't realize, like, me and Coach Whitler, that's like family. So, of course, when the ball goes in the air, I look at that other side and, I cut my eyes at him and, we have our inside jokes, but, outside of the basketball stuff, like that's really my family. So, I know he's going to have his guys prepared. I know Coach Clay is going to have his board ready, but, I'm going to be prepared as well. And right now, I got the heads up. I'm 2-0 against Coach Whitler and I'm 0-1 against Coach Clay. So, I'm looking to go 3-0 tomorrow.
Isn't it the best, though, when you take on your friends because, like, you can be aggressive, like, you can go all out, but when it's over, it's over.
Yes, and a lot of people, I don't think they realize how close we were until we played them the first game at Epps, and the head of official, Tony Green, he texted me after the game, and he said not only did he enjoy the game, but he enjoyed the way me and Coach Whitler were talking to each other from across the benches because I watch film like he watches film, and he came out in his famous 1-3-1 zone, and I laughed at him, and I said, now, I was going to be prepared for that. And then we went into the 3-2 zone, and he said, I was going to be prepared for that. So, it's always fun when you're playing chess against friends. You can go at each other, but as soon as the game is over, we shake hands, we hug, and, we always had the motto, even when we were both assistant coaches, if I didn't win the championship, we always wanted them to win the championship because no matter what, we want the SIC championship to go through the AUC.
I have been there in person. I have seen Clark Atlanta take those SIAC championship wins. There have been some good teams over the years. This roster that you have, this team right now, you are, what are you guys, like 20-4?
20-4, yes.
20-4 right now? How do you feel about this team making a deep run, not only through the regular season, but into the postseason?
So what I always did was I put pressure on myself that whenever I got this job, winning the SIAC championship was bare minimum. If every year I wasn't in contention to win the SIAC championship, I wasn't doing my job. Since these guys has gotten on campus, the only thing that I've preached to them is national championship. Anything less is a failure for us. We're not aiming just to win our conference. We're aiming to get into the tournament and to unpack our bags. The few times that I've been blessed to go to the national tournament as an assistant, I never made it out of the first day. And one thing that I've been trying to tell my guys is this is how you make yourself a legend. You do things that hasn't been done prior to you, that when you come back to the AUC for homecoming, people will always remember you as the first team to get to the national tournament, to win some games, and to win an actual national championship.
I think you have to be intentional about that, right? Because, look, I grew up in North Carolina, so CIAA country. CIAA tournament, huge. And the winner goes on to the national tournament. But the emotional kind of letdown from the fans is like, okay, that was it. Like, that was the culmination of the season. So I think when you don't talk about those things, I mean, you have to kind of build that expectation and like put it in the atmosphere so that people don't look at it like, oh, okay, that was nice. We won our, our conference title. That other thing is, it's all right.
And for me, it's time that HBCU makes it on that national stage and they perform and they dance for a long time. And, after being blessed with the opportunity to go to the Division I level and just to see the way things were ran there and to have some of the success that I was blessed to have while I was there, my mindset is, even though Clark Atlanta is technically in a Division II conference, my mindset is our program is Division I and we're a high major program. And that's how we run everything that we do, from film, scout, the way we talk to our guys, the way we feed them. We preach to them, just because your feet are where they are doesn't mean that you can't raise the expectations. And that's what this team has done. They have set the bar for everything that I have to accomplish from here on out. It's winning 20, going from losing 20 games to winning 20 games, that's major. But, I can't take all the credit. My assistant coaches, they put in just as much work. And, like I always say to people, it's not always about the X's and O's. The Jimmies and the Joes on our team, they put in the work. And there's been some games where they won it. And, now as a coach, and, I'm a lot more comfortable with them. Sometimes my play calling, I trust my point guard. They're doing what they're supposed to do. So we're playing good, mature basketball at the right time. And, with this gauntlet of a schedule, from playing a Miles, that's number 1 on the West. Then we go to Morehouse, that's number 2 on the East. Then we go play Allen. Then we finish the season against Benedict, who has been one of the better teams.
They're going to want some get back.
Yeah, so, but what I've been preaching to my guys is, the way we're ending our season is the way we're going to start our new season, which is the SIAC tournament and the national tournament. And, for me, I'm preparing these guys like this is the national tournament, knowing where we'll be in 2 weeks. And, even though we dropped one yesterday, it was a very good game. I think our guys are even hungrier, which is scary.
All right. He's Alfred Jordan, head coach of the 20-4 Clark Atlanta Panthers. The Battle of the AUC is Saturday afternoon. We're going to call it a 2:00 tip.
Yes, sir.
At Morehouse. If you can get in, get in. It's going to be a good one. Should be exciting. We'll be talking about it all this weekend here at HBCU Game Day and HBCUGameDay.com.